This video is your ultimate guide to Coach's most popular bag of 2025. This bag was released in a variety of sizes and colors and materials. I will go over all of that in this video. And it's a bag that keeps selling out over and over again. It was released in the spring and again in the fall. So we'll talk about whether more are coming next year. And I have one of these that I've unboxed previously for you, but I also have two more that I'm going to unbox in this video in different sizes and different materials. Once I get those unboxed, we'll compare all three bags in terms of size, capacity, what fits, and how to wear them. We'll talk about the comfort, the practicality, and in the end, we'll talk about whether I think they are worth your money. Because of course, they are not inexpensive bags. So stay tuned. And welcome, I'm Autumn Beckman, and I'm here to help you live your most luxurious life within your budget. I post new videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those and so you don't miss my daily community posts where I share the best sales of the day and fabulous handbags that I find. Also, don't miss my website, autumnbeckman.com/shop. That's where you'll find handbags and accessories I have for sale, as well as the My Handbag Collection Organizer. These are planner pages that I've designed to help you organize and curate your handbags and your life. The heart of which is the item tracker. This is where you can record everything you'd want to know about your handbags and small goods. I also have tons of other pages that help you track information about your handbags and small goods or other kinds of collections you may have. And I have planner pages in a variety of formats so you can find what works best for you, as well as lots of other pages to help you organize and plan your life. And of course, the most popular Coach bag of 2025 has been the kisslock frame bag. Coach first introduced this reiteration of the frame bag because they've made these kisslock bags for decades. They introduced this version in the spring 2025 runway show for New York Fashion Week, which took place in fall of 2024. I have a video on all the bags from that show, and that will be linked in the description box below if you'd like to take a look at that, and especially which kisslock bags in which sizes and colors walked the runway in that particular show. But what we want to focus on in this video is which kisslock frame bags Coach actually released this year. I believe they showed two different sizes on the runway, but they've actually released four different sizes that are available to purchase. The most well-known, of course, is what Coach calls the large kisslock frame bag. Large is perhaps an understatement. This bag is gigantic. It is absolutely massive. It was carried under the arm on the runway and kind of squished and folded. And we saw Carrie Bradshaw carry this bag under her arm that way in the series And Just Like That, which made this bag even more popular and desirable than it already was. Coach first released this size in the spring of 2025 in three colors: black, dark brown, that's the one that Carrie Bradshaw wore, and a pink color called Rose. They're priced at $695, and they all sold out immediately. Now, since then, Coach has dropped them again a few different times in the same colors, and they've also shown up at a few third-party retailers. But every time they show up, they sell out very quickly. And then this fall, they did another drop where they released this color, which is blackcurrant, for the same price, and also it sold out. And they released one in a jacquard fabric with crystals all over it. I'm going to talk more about those crystals in just a minute because I learned something about them recently that kind of blew my mind. I have seen Coach do many of these crystal bags in other styles for months now. I don't remember if they came out in 24 or 25, but around then. And there was something about them that I didn't realize until very recently. Now this bag, because it has all those crystals, is priced higher than the leather bags at $895 compared to $695. In the spring, they also released a very limited quantity of this size. This is the 10 centimeter, and that measurement comes from the bottom of the bag. This is a very, very small bag. This bag, for example, is the Beat 18. This is 18 centimeters across the bottom. That means that 10 centimeter bag is only slightly longer than half the size of this bag. Tiny, tiny. I only remember seeing that on the website in black, and I only remember seeing it sold out. But I have also found that it was made in chalk, which is their white, and in rose, which is that pink. The retail price on this bag was $225. That's pretty reasonable for a bag that small. And it had a removable gold chain with a little C that allowed you to adjust the length of the chain. And now we get to my two unboxings. Let's do the smaller one first. Ordered directly from Coach. Although I believe this bag and this next bag were available in other places, just like the large bag was, but that 10 centimeter I think was only available from Coach. This comes in a little dust bag, and this is the Coach kisslock frame bag in the size 14 centimeter across the bottom. To my recollection, this bag was not released in spring, only in fall, but if you remember differently, please let us know in the comment section. I'm also only aware of this size ever being released in black leather. And retail price on this is $350. And you can see it's still quite a small bag. And then this box, which I also got directly from Coach, but which may still be available elsewhere. And of course, whatever I can find of any of these bags will be linked in the description box below. It's a rather large box for this little box. Remove the ribbon. So we'll go in here. Let's get that sticker off the tissue paper and pull out the dust bag. Untie it. Wow, in here we have the Coach kisslock frame bag in the 16 centimeter size. So 10 centimeter, 14, and 16, plus that large size, which I measure as 32 centimeters. Those are the four sizes that Coach actually released. Now this, as you can see, is the one that's the jacquard fabric with the crystals. I'm not sure I had watched any videos on any of the crystal bags since they came out, because when I saw photos of them in the Coach listings or listed elsewhere, they didn't look very interesting to me at all. It just looked like jacquard fabric, the brown on brown, and between the C's I saw four little clear crystals. And I thought that's all there was to it, so I was confused about why people liked them so much. I thought it was kind of boring and not very special. But then I came across a video on this particular bag, and oh my gosh, look at it shimmer. The crystals are not just the little clear ones right here. They're also all across the C's, the dark brown. Now the lighter brown is just fabric, but everything else is crystals. All along the front of the bag, the sides, the back of the bag, and even on the bottom. I love that you also have a little bit of leather trim here along the piping, and with this bag you get a little handle. The 16 centimeter size was not released in the spring, only in fall of 2025. And of course it was released in this crystal jacquard. The price on that is $495, but it was also released in leather, in black, and black currant. And those were $350. So now that I have all three of these bags unpacked, I wish I had the fourth so I could include that in the comparison we're about to do. But it's so similar to the 14 centimeter size, I think you can get the idea. But now that I have these three unboxed, let's compare different things about them. And hopefully that will help you decide if you want one of these, which one you might want. And I think let's use the glove-tanned leather bags as a baseline. So I'll bring this closer. Something that one of you pointed out to me that I had not noticed about the 2025 kisslock frame bags versus some previous versions of kisslock bags from Coach is that these are made from, at least from the front and the sides here, one piece of leather. So you have one piece there, and if you turn it, you see a seam. So on the back, you have one other piece, and then you have a third piece on the bottom. And that stamp does say genuine glove-tanned leather. On this bag, you have a little D-ring on the side of the frame, and that holds two hang tags. You have the classic Coach hang tag, which in this case says Coach Leatherwear on both sides. And you have the second tag that says the kisslock frame bag, limited re-edition 1969. So that's when the original kisslock bag was made. And of course that would have been during Bonnie Cashin's era at Coach. We have this brass frame with the two little balls on top. And when we open that, let me get this unstuffed, we'll see this bag is fully leather lined. In this case, the color of the leather matches the exterior color. And on this bag, we have this little metal piece here and here that we can flip up just like that and close the bag. And that will allow us to attach the straps that came with it. We'll talk about straps in a minute. The interior of this bag features one slip card pocket, and then over here, a zippered pocket with this chain zipper pull, which is reminiscent of what we would find on some of the earliest vintage Coach bags. Beautiful quality, very well made, beautiful classic shape. This version might be my favorite of all three that I have. Now we'll take a look at the 16 centimeter size. What is different about this compared to the 14, besides the obvious difference in the material? So the construction of the bag is identical. There are a couple of small differences. For example, where the hang tags hang from. There's no little D-ring on the side next to the frame like we had on the 14 centimeter. Instead, we have them hanging from this little loop where this short leather handle is attached. And when we open this bag, we can see it is also fully leather lined, this time in a lovely brown cognac color. And it also has the zippered pocket with the little chain, which is still wrapped up. You can see the Coach Creed stamped into the leather. And on the other side, we have a slip card pocket. We also have these two metal pieces here that can be folded down. However, this short strap is attached. And I know that that is something that I've seen a lot of people complain about with this bag. Even though that handle can be tucked inside, since it's attached diagonally and it's not removable, it gets in the way here of getting your things in and out, which is kind of frustrating. It does also come with a chain. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, when you tuck that strap into the bag, the hang tags also have to go inside to be able to close it. And you really have to make sure they're in there, otherwise they get pinched in the frame. So that's another thing to keep in mind with the size 16. Now on the large size, the 32 centimeter, again, the construction is exactly the same, but you see that we do have a D-ring here that holds the hang tags, and we have a strap that attaches to D-rings at the top of the back, and those are on one side of the bag attached to the leather, not to the frame itself. And there's the bottom. Now when we open this bag, we again, even in this large size, have a fully leather lined bag. The same big zipper pocket with the little chain there, and then on the other side, in this case, no pockets. Also, hard to see, but the Creed is stamped into the leather there. And the insides of these pockets are done in the textile that you find on Rogue bags. And that's the same material on the 14 and the 16. But I wanted to check, and you can just see the Creed there. So it is stamped here. It's just very hard to see because of the black leather. Now let's talk capacity and what fits in these bags, because I think they're a little bit deceptive, especially when you consider the bag in terms of the size it's labeled with, the size of the bottom. Let's start with the large size. Now this, I'm not going to do a big what fits on it. I'll link the video below where I unboxed this. I did a more in-depth what fits there, or at least a little more than I'm going to do in this video. This bag is enormous. It's going to hold pretty much anything you want it to hold. In the previous video, I showed whether my MacBook Air 13 would fit in this, and it does. But I recently got a MacBook Pro in the 14, and I haven't tried it yet, so I wanted to see if that would fit. So you'd have to put it in diagonally, and then, yeah, it fits in there, and I can close it up, and it is in there. Makes the bag quite heavy, just because the computer's heavy, but it does fit, so that's nice. And one more thing I'll point out about the construction on this size versus the smaller ones is because this frame is so big and they want it to stay together properly and not get out of alignment, they've added a pin here and here, and a little hole in the frame here and here, so that the frame aligns in 3 points, those two with the pin and the closure. The smaller sizes don't have that because they don't need it. Now the two smaller sizes, the 14 and the 16, and this would be the case on the 10 as well, they sound deceptively small when going by the size, but notice that the bags are actually bigger than the bottom because they bow out on the sides. This size, for example, 16 across the bottom, but it's 23 centimeters from end to end here. And the smaller one is 14 across the bottom, but 20 from end to end across the sides. That means they're going to hold a little more than it might sound like they'll hold if you're just going by dimensions. So what fits in the 16 centimeter? Here's a full-size wallet. That is not going to fit. A mini pochette, let's see, that might fit. Yeah, you can get that in there. You have to maneuver it a little bit, but it fits. A compact wallet will certainly fit, as will a card holder. A corner zip wristlet from the Coach outlet. That might be tight, but you can squish it a little bit and get it in there. That kind of fits. Here's how that looks so far with those 3 things. Can I get it closed? Well, if I can get the hang tags out of the way that immediately fall into the frame, that's frustrating. Yes, I can get it closed, but that's about all that would fit. Let me pull one of the pouches out, because I also wanted to see if this small sunglasses case would fit, and it does. Here's how that looks, and I can get it closed, no problem. Oh, and my phone. This is an iPhone 16, regular size, not a plus, and that fits very easily. What of those same items will fit in the 14 centimeter versus the 16? My phone, that does fit. That's a good thing. My compact wallet, that also fits. The mini pochette, if I squeeze it, it'll fit because it's so malleable, but it looks like that. Probably not the best fit. The corner zipped wristlet from Coach, that, unless I really squished it, is not going to fit. I'd have to bend almost an inch of it over to fit it in. And my small sunglasses case, that does fit. Yay. And there it is, closed. Now let's look at the strap options for these different bags. On the size 10, as I mentioned, it comes with a detachable gold chain, and you can use the little C on it as an adjuster to make that chain longer or shorter, which is a really nice feature to have on a chain. And I showed you on the large size that it has 2 D-rings on the back, and it comes with this short leather strap that fits over your shoulder. There's no crossbody strap. I don't imagine anybody would want to carry this bag crossbody, but it fits just like this, and this is my favorite way to wear this bag. To me, this makes this bag, which we often see styled as an oversized clutch, which is really not the most practical way to carry it, not the most comfortable way to carry it. This makes it comfortable for me, and it makes it feel like carrying a tote bag, but a tote bag that is much more stylish and interesting than most tote bags. So I love it like this. And it's interesting that on all 4 of these sizes, Coach did something different with the straps. Even these 2 are different. I showed you on the frames that they each have those little metal pieces that are hinged that pop up, so you can tuck the straps in or out. The size 16 comes with this short leather strap attached, but it also comes with a detachable crossbody chain that you can attach to the little rings where that leather strap is. Now, when you attach that chain and you wear it crossbody or on your shoulder, you're still going to have this leather handle sticking out because you can't fold it in and have the chain connected with the little metal pieces sticking out, and you can't detach it. I have heard of a few people cutting these straps off because they are kind of annoying. And I think that if you get one of these bags and you love everything about it and you know you're going to keep it, you feel like you're never ever going to sell it, that's really a good option. Coach has taken a little bit of heat, I think, for this part of the design because everything else about it is wonderful, except these should be attached on the side. And on the size 14, there is no attached strap at all, which is how it should be, but it does come with 2 detachable straps. I don't have these unwrapped because I wanted to check on capacity and figure out, do I want to keep a bag this small? But I will tell you, one of them is the gold chain that's just like the one on the 16, and then the other I'll bring closer. The other is this thin leather strap, which matches the color of the bag. But I wanted to show you 2 other strap options that you could get for these bags that are detachable. At least for the small bags, not so much for the big one. One is this chain. I'll bring it closer and I will have this and the other thing I'm about to show you linked in the description box below. This is a chain with leather woven through it, and then it has this little ball. Now this one is designed to look like something that Chanel did, but this is similar to what you'd find on the size 10 kisslock frame bag. So what you do with this ball here and what you would do with the C on that bag is you press that button in, and then you can adjust the length of the chain, longer or shorter, which is really handy. And it looks like this on the size 14. Very pretty. I think that elevates it from both the chain and the leather strap that it comes with from Coach. And then there's this chain. This is a shorter chain, so if you wanted it to have a little top handle, or if you just wanted to use it as decoration on this bag, it's so pretty. I'll have this linked below in both this gold color and in silver, and I'll bring it closer. This is designed to look like a chain that Coach makes, but theirs is quite a bit larger. I've seen people put that on the large bag, and it looks great. But for these little bags, this shorter one is just perfect. It's pretty, and I love that you have a top handle option. It's just fantastic, and it's a great price. I got this one for about $12. Coach sells their larger one, which I'll also link below, for about $125. So big difference. Now, the last thing I want to show you are some options to decorate these bags, because I know people like to use bag charms or scarves. So here's how to do that. I'm just going to use one of my Rexy bag charms. On the large size, there are 3 places where you could attach a charm depending on the size of the hook. One of them, the most obvious I think, is on the D-rings where the straps attach, so just like that. Another would be where the hang tags are attached, although I don't think that's the best place because that D-ring is really small and it's sort of awkward having something in that curvature of the bag there. But you could certainly do it. And another place I've seen people hang things is actually the little bars. Let me bring this closer. The little bars right here under the closure. So people just attach a charm right there, and then you can have something hanging from the middle of the bag, which is pretty cute. And if you wanted to hang a scarf, if you've got the shoulder strap on, that gives you a place to wrap the scarf around. Whether it's a twilly size or a larger scarf, you can wrap it on and tie it there. If you have the smaller scarf like the twilly, you could even put it through the D-ring, and that way you wouldn't have to have the handle on the bag to be able to attach it. Same thing with the 16. If you have the handle up, you can wrap the scarf right around that handle and tie it, and that's a great place to put it. And with a bag charm, since there's not a lot of space in that little D-ring there because there's a leather handle in the way, some bag charms like this one are not going to fit through there, but you could still attach it to the little bar under the closure and have a bag charm in the middle. And on the size 14, you can do the same with that little bar, so it looks like this. Or since you have the rings that flip up but you don't have a handle in the way, you could attach something there, and that looks nice as well. I like that. Now this size scarves would be a little trickier unless you got a shorter strap and you could tie this along the strap. But these little rings here aren't really big enough for me to comfortably put a twilly through and be confident that I'm not going to damage the scarf. So we talked today about 4 sizes that Coach released of the kisslock frame bags in 2025. Do I think they are worth the money? Honestly, I'm having a bit of a hard time justifying this one. It's not one I've carried yet. I'm still in the return window and I am still contemplating whether or not to keep it. And a big reason is that $700 price tag. It's a lot of money for a bag that I feel like I'm not going to wear very often. And I do love what I said about it being comfortable on the shoulder and it feels like an oversized tote bag, but it also feels like an oversized tote bag that I want to be really careful with because it's glove tan leather, it can get scratched, it's a special bag, and with totes, I'm not usually that careful with them. I like to throw a tote around. So I've been hesitant to wear this, and I'm wondering what situation could come up that would make me want to wear it and feel comfortable wearing it. And that's another place where I'm struggling with this. If you love this and you feel like you would wear it, then I do think it's worth it because it is such a cool special bag. I'm just struggling with, I don't want this to be a bag that sits on a shelf. I want to wear it, and will I, is the question. The size 16. For me, this is not the size I would want, so I'm going to send this one back. Even though the crystals are amazing, just handling this bag in this video, this handle gets in the way too much, but what bothers me even more than that I didn't realize, is that the hang tags falling in and out of the bag and getting caught in the frame, that really bothers me. I feel like it would be so much more user-friendly without this in the way. It's really nice that they gave us a short handle option, but it should have been removable. The capacity on this is good though. It certainly fits more than the 14. However, those usability issues for me make me like this 14 even better. And even though it fits a little less, it's still a really great size and fits more than I thought it would when I first ordered it. I love the versatility of having these rings pop up with no attached handle, being able to attach other handles, other straps, bag charms. I think that would be great. I do wish it came in different colors other than black. That's all I've seen so far. I think the perfect bag for me might be this size in blackcurrant, or really in olive, but they didn't release them in olive. Oh, which brings me to, will they release more? They do say that they have more coming if you go to some of the listings on the Coach site, and I will have them linked below. But we saw in the spring show when they were first introduced on the runway that they came in lots of bright spring colors. And as popular as these bags have been since they sell out every time they pop up, I haven't heard any word for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised at all, and I'm kind of expecting that they'll release these bags in more spring colors in the spring. Since they did that with the blackcurrant in the fall, that's what makes me think they're going to continue releasing these in other colors. So maybe I should hold out for that. We'll see. But given what I said about the functionality of this bag, as well as the capacity, I think for me the size 10 centimeter would not be worth it just because it would be too small. I think this 14 is about as small as I could go. But what do you guys think? Do you have any of these kisslock bags in different sizes? Do you have the 10 in particular? What can you tell us about it? What's worked for you? What hasn't? Have you bought one and returned it? Have you bought one and carried it? What are you loving about it? Tell us everything about these kisslock bags from 2025 in the description box below that you think could be helpful to other people or that you just want to share. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope to see you back here next time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.